Alright, so after a groundbreaking debut into the Coliseum, Chapter 36 begins with Coco commentating on how the duo's prowess left Mikigami unable to move. Mikigami then sighs before turning to Fine, who says that the attack had no intention of hitting them. Mikigami asks if there was any point in dodging it. As both continue to look unamused, commentator Coco is surprised by Team Mikigami's confidence. Wondering how the twins will respond, Ruby and Diamond look at each other while attempting to hold it together. In the next panel, both are shown in tears from laughter at what they just seen and heard. "Come on, Diamond, it's not good to laugh," Ruby says. That's when the duo imitated Coco, Mikigami, and Fine before drowning in the laughter once again. Annoyed by their bratty behavior, Fine and Mikigami turned their backs on them. Watching them do so made the twins go back to laughing at them as the crowd chimes in wanting the champions to respond. Mikigami is then seen getting frustrated from losing the momentum of the crowd. With the twins swinging arm in arm, they poke fun at Mikigami's behavior by calling him lame and weak for a big bro. "Damn it. Who are you calling big brother when you both are older than me?" Mikigami says. Turning the page back 2 weeks ago at Zulu's hideout, Mikigami is talking with the girls about not knowing who they'll be facing is problematic. Since he can't use the copy skill at this time, he has to rely on Fine, but the others aren't too confident about it. On top of lacking experience socially and in combat, she has an arsenal of very weak skills. Fine first calls them out for criticizing her so terribly, but doesn't deny the truth to their words. If it's something she doesn't like to do, then it's impossible to achieve. This includes working and fighting. Going up against weaklings is one thing, but taking on a general or samurai would be out of the question. With Chris in awe of Fine's demeanor, Alice looks at her, irritated. Mikigami then goes over how great offensively and defensively Mary, Morrow, and Alice have been. Compared to them, and without the copy skill, if their opponent is even slightly faster, both of them could be defeated. Fine agrees that there's holes in their capabilities, while Zulu asks how they'll handle their shortcomings. Mikigami mentions that once he could use the copy skill, he was confident enough to figure something out or have a backup plan. With no other choice, he looks over at Zulu to say that he'll have to rely on her while giving it their all. For now, they'll focus on their opponents and decide what to do for themselves. While the others are puzzled by his brimming confidence, he continues that they need to control the rumors in the town to lure in an opponent that will be convenient for them. The pages switch back to the Coliseum, where Zulu looks on and wonders if things will really work out like he says. Based on past battles, they will likely face off against either a wealthy noble or merchant, she says. In the meantime, they'll use the bar to spread rumors to lure interesting people in. From the information gathered, multiple nobles felt intimidated to battle Mikigami, such as the Iru and Burn families. Despite that, the rivalry among nobles is something to not take lightly. For now, the audience can only wait with anticipation and believing both management and nobles will put together a special type of match. Zulu looked to Mary at the time for planning and requested a few things to make it work. As a noble herself, Mary initially believed the demand was impossible, but also not impossible. Nobles are the type to hold their reputation in high regard, which is why using rumors is something to be concerned about. If it's a noble that Mary knows, it may be possible to anticipate how things can play out. Surprised that she would say something like that, the Heavenly Kings start to poke fun at Mary while Zulu goes over the list of candidates with Mikigami. Pleading that things go smoothly without being noticed, Zulu asks what she even supposed to do. For some reason, things unexpectedly worked out, but management handled things messy and delayed the fight for about a week, she says. This opponent was the fourth option on the list, and Team Mikigami has zero chance of beating someone of this caliber. The time might be upon them to part with this guy, Zulu says, before Mary questions if she says something to her. Denying that she said anything, Zulu asks about the clothes Mary is dressed in. Mary asks if it looks weird before it's confirmed that her usual attire would stand out too much. In the next panels, Mikigami is thinking how everything should be fine since the twins are a special type, while Fine knew much more about their background. At the age of 12, they made their debut hunting all kinds of monsters. When they turned 18, they defeated a behemoth and became known as the Colossal Beast Slayers. Mikigami concludes that the twins have exceptional athleticism and looks. They also work as leisurely bodyguards for a noble to which both he and Fine can't relate to. Fine reassures herself that with Mikigami there's nothing to fear, but they both came to the same conclusion that they are up against a top-class duo. Before commentator Coco could jump in the conversation, she's abruptly cut off by Sapphire Aho, who announces that she's the one who's sponsoring the twins. With spectators questioning what's going on or if she's a noble, Sapphire continues that she is indeed so, and if they win, those two will become nobility. since she's here for Mikigami as well. The audience is stunned by her declaration, while Desmos looks seemingly annoyed. Commentator Coco chimes in to ask if this match will be like the others where all slaves are wagered. Despite Sapphire's condescending nature towards her understanding the situation, she confirms it before looking at Desmos. Remaining silent no longer, Desmos agrees but doesn't care if the twins become slaves or not. Sapphire wonders if that is okay, but reaffirms that it's exactly what will happen. It should be perfectly fine since they're twins and twins should always be together, Sapphire says. The crowd is confused by her answer and the wager of this match before she steps in to say that her Ruby and Diamond won't lose to them. Desmos, even more annoyed, mentions that it's fine before reminding everyone the rules of the Coliseum. All losers are slaves, and the Coliseum has always been that way. With Fine agreeing with Desmos, Ruby and Diamond think how Sapphire is dumb by going against expectations. Looking at Mikigami with a serious expression, Desmos wants Mikigami to just accept it. She can't take dealing with that idiot noble for one more second. Mikigami then exchanges looks with Desmos and understands what she's trying to say. Annoyed that she's asking something of him, he agrees, which satisfies the conditions to move on. Despite some of the spectators still hung up on the circumstances surrounding the match, others loudly cheered that this is what the Coliseum is all about. According to Zulu's investigation into the Aho family, Sapphire is the second daughter that is being treated as a fool among the nobles. With Desmos letting out a heavy sigh, she thinks to herself how stupid Sapphire must be. It was just the other day she opted out of the recruiting process but showed up at the last minute wielding her noble privileges. Even when entry to Desmos' room wasn't permitted, they still showed themselves in. Thinking she was going to mess things up again, this happened instead, yet the person in question doesn't seem to have any ill intentions. She's incredibly ill-mannered, and there's also the relationship with the Aho family to consider, Desmos says. Nobles, villains, or anyone who doesn't follow proper etiquette should be eliminated. I can't excuse those around me, but if they show promising skill like those two, then I'll allow it, she continues. Up until now, Mikigami has won using his copy skill and can use up to 10 different skills, which means he can't possibly lose to anyone. Sapphire calls out the Lady Desmos to watch closely as her twin knights will surely bring victory. On the contrary, Desmos is hoping Mikigami takes her down quickly as possible. Now that the buildup is done, Coco and Momo announce it's time to begin the match. Ruby and Diamond activate their abilities to enhance their speed and strength, with Mikigami supposedly copying their abilities and Fine using a buff of her own. With both commentators looking on at the two teams at a standstill, Ruby and Diamond taunt them into making the first move, but Mikigami declines. He taunts back by asking if it would be mature of the stronger side to go first. Thinking to himself that he's not confident enough to make a move in the first place, the twins are left almost speechless before we turn to the final page. As the chapter comes to a close, the twins are seen laughing from such an interesting response while Mikigami and Fine's bloodlust increases. So that was chapter 36, and there was much to go over as usual. For the most part, this chapter was still building on the background characters such as Sapphire, Ruby, and Diamond. Now that we got confirmation on the twins' ages, I feel a bit better on the possible sex that could happen down the line. A lot of folks, including me, are still on board with the girl from the cover art being a gentleman version of Diamond. Much of the features add up, but I'll keep an open mind about it because anything can happen. Another interesting fact is that Desmos wants this match done and gone fast. She doesn't care if Mikigami enslaved the twins or not, but she wants it over with. That's a first for Desmos. And it's not only because she's irritated, but she felt disrespected with how Sapphire forced her way in without permission last chapter. As she said before, folks who don't understand etiquette should be eliminated, but she saw potential in the twins, so she just let it slide. I wouldn't be surprised if Sapphire gets eliminated, like killed off once she loses. She's already considered an idiot by most, including the nobles, so one less in the hierarchy is good for both family and management. Lastly, I'd like to touch on what happened in the last few pages. We know that Mikigami is having trouble with his copy skill, yet he made it seem like things were just back to normal right then and there. You know what I mean? From the reaction and dialogue from the twins though, I'm gonna assume they're laughing at his bluff or they outsmarted Mikigami by faking that they used a skill. They might just be genuinely gifted too, like athletic and all that stuff. Like Mikigami did mention like they have all this ability, but who's to say it's their actual ability? Like Marl is talented without her buffs. So this could be something along those lines, just good already. But Still though, Team Sapphire has the edge, but they didn't like initiate anything like they did when they were like being introduced. You know what I mean? They didn't attack first or attack as things were about to get started, because, you know, round one, people like get edgy and they just attack once the gong rings, but they didn't do that here. And at the same time, we got to keep in mind that these are children. These are children. They act like children, so they're gonna be like children, or they could be trying to assess Mikigami because they know his abilities and all this stuff. But again, this falls back into them, you know, faking that they have a skill, or, you know, calling a bluff. But it is what it is. Anyway, we'll know more once we get the next issue. Hopefully I got my desk set up and everything. I know my voice is kind of weird right now because I don't have all my stuff set up. I done moved and all that stuff, but that's besides the point. Still pushing out the content. Let me know what you think about chapter 36, the new characters, etc. in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and if you haven't already, follow on socials. Tune in next time, and peace out.